making another YouTube video, I think. I think I'll post it on YouTube. Just because it's to this lousy, stinking, rotten handy guy. And he's just so annoying. And, yeah, you know, I want people to...
It's entirely possible that I'm strawmanning the anti-natalists when I say that they seem to believe that life isn't worth living.
Yeah, well, no, you're strawmanning them when you imply that they have some broken perspective. Either emotionally they're broken, or that they're intellectually broken, or that they're somehow not seeing the truth the right way because they got some kind of black glasses on. It's that kind of insult to their integrity as thinkers and as feelers and as human organisms that is really, really irritating. So, yeah, it's insulting is what it is. You've insulted their integrity, and you think you can just do that without having them fight back. You haven't attacked their arguments regarding antinatalism. You've attacked their credibility as thinkers, and that's really, really, really petty. And I'm going to show you how. I'll show you how. Well, I can show you how that looks.
That life is nothing but an endless pile of weariness, punctuated by blasts of agony that go back to weariness when the agony is over.
Well, whatever. Sometimes the agony is the end. The last act. That's how I've seen it anyway. 50% of the people I've seen die. Yeah, the last act was agony. They didn't just drop dead in their sleep. They didn't just keel over. No, they spent years dying of something, and sometimes hideously insidious diseases like Alzheimer's that stole their entire identity, humiliated who they were, stripped them of all their dignity, all their grace, all their beauty, and yeah, that's something that maybe somebody should get a little melancholy about. Fuck. Again, antinatalism is about more, look, Ethylism, okay? I'm not here to defend Benatar. I'm not here to defend Schopenhauer. I'm here to make an argument that life, replication for the sake of replication based on a DNA molecule's conversion through time, has no function. It can only clean up the mess it makes, period. And it doesn't do a good job of that. There, it's not a complex philosophy. Argue the philosophy, or be an asshole and keep attacking the messenger. Shithead.
Again, I really shouldn't talk about other people's ideas when one should probably allow them to put...
Yeah, well, maybe you should argue the ideas again. You haven't talked about the ideas. You just keep talking about antinatalists, not antinatalism. And that is the huge critical flaw in this whole 60-part ad hominem attack.
Forward their own ideas as to what they believe, and their own explanations for that. But I do agree in a...
Yeah, well, you know what? There's been literally, I've produced thousands of videos. Other people have made hundreds of videos. We've already made our argument. What we're waiting for is a counter argument that has something to do with the actual subject.
Limited version of that. I agree with my great hero, Socrates, who said...
Yeah, well, again, you didn't know Socrates. You're a great hero, so, and he's not here to say, you know what, Smiling Andy, you're full of shit. Okay? I could run fingers around the bullshit you're spouting. Run circles, fingers. I used a finger to describe it, but yeah, circle.
The unexamined life is not worth living.
Right, and so your implication is what? That somehow we haven't examined our lives enough, or we haven't introspected enough. You even conceded the point that these people are relatively intelligent, And yeah, I'm going to argue compared to 90% of the human race, they've probably done more introspection and more examination of their role in the universe and their role on planet Earth and their role as a member of their community even than 90% of the human beings walking. So why don't you talk to the 90% of the assholes who aren't doing any of that? This is just, again, another insult, another shot, like we haven't done all that crap, fuckhead. You know, I'll challenge you, okay? You know, who's put more hours of introspection
in? In other words, when you stop thinking, life ceases to be worth living.
Yeah, whatever. So again, does anybody hear the implication here that somehow anti-natalists as a class of human beings are casual thinkers, not deep thinkers, not thoughtful, not careful, not cautious, not clinical? This is just a fucking disgusting insult. And you're expecting what from us? I mean, you pompous ass. And the idiots on your side, the people you're applauding, the people you're patting on the back, their rhetorics amount to cute kitty. You know, or some sort of bathroom humor. You proud of that? God, you're just despicable. You're just despicable. You creepy motherfucker.
I don't really know what causes me to question absolutely everything, but it's just something that I do.
Yeah, absolutely everything. So does that make any sense to anybody? Do these assholes who rate your video, who like your videos, do they really do that? You question absolutely everything? Do you really do that? Do you really do that? Do you look at every aspirin before you take it, and do you examine it carefully and make sure the CIA hasn't planted a bug in it? Do you really contemplate whether the aspirin might be a couple of weeks too old and now it's only 80% effective, and so maybe you should scrape a quarter off another aspirin? Do you really do any of this shit, you fuckers? Do you really question everything? And do you question evolution as a foundation of understanding for our origins? Do you doubt it in some way? Is there some evidence or argumentation that it all challenges it as the theory of how we got here, of what constructed us? Do you have some doubts about that theory? Then why don't you articulate them? Why don't you get this guy to explain to us why we should be skeptical of evolution as the theory of our origin? You people just are so full of shit. You're religious nuts.
I'm never quite satisfied with whatever answers I come up with, and everything has to be examined.
Well, again, you're not quite satisfied. So you're not satisfied with the evidence of our origins. Right? Is that what you're saying? You're not satisfied with the imagery we have of the rest of the universe. You're not satisfied with the electron telescope, microscopes imagery that we've got. You're not satisfied with the genome as it's been documented. There's some evidence that just isn't good enough for you, or it's inconsistent, or it's not compatible. Well, what exactly are you? What is so unsettling about the facts necessary to draw a conclusion about what made us and what our function is, our natural function, and extending that to philosophically extrapolate and say, okay, an incidental consequence of the human organism's development was consciousness and the capacity to be harmed. These were innovations of evolution, okay, that were conducive to survival, but carry with them a magnitude, a weight, a significance that goes beyond merely survival.
Probably there's an element of aping what Socrates did during his life.
Yeah, with good reason. They didn't understand anything. They had no scientific theory of thunder and lightning, and I mean, the stars were still out of their grasp. I mean, this is just, well, of course they would be skeptical of everything, because everything they're hearing are just hearsay arguments. They didn't have photographs. They didn't have any of that stuff. We do. Big difference.
And what I get from that statement that the unexamined life is not worth living is that once you stop questioning everything around you, of course, life isn't worth living.
Well, whatever. Again, once you stop questioning, what questions beyond detail now do we need to resolve? Or is there something about the basic design we don't understand? I don't think so.
And also, you kind of slip into the, dare I say this, the herd's way of thinking. It's fun.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, again, so this, you don't think anybody would find that offensive. You're just calling us sheeple. You're saying that the anti-natalists are just hearing somebody's rhetoric and drawing conclusions. Again, why don't you put names to these accusations? If you're going to make accusations, why don't you give those people names? All right? If you're going to insult my intelligence, why don't you use my fucking name, you lousy fucking cunt? I mean, this is disgusting. I never heard of Benatar, okay? He wrote his book more than 5 years ago. I never heard of him, and I was already making anti-natalist videos. I never heard of Schopenhauer, and I was making anti-natalist videos. All right? I'm not herding behind somebody. I'm drawing conclusions and articulating a theory of truth. Now argue the theory of truth, you fuck, and get out of my personal space, you motherfucking piece of shit, or I'm going to start really getting into yours. You want me to fucking characterize you, you motherfucking creepy pseudo-homosexual? I mean, you're not even a real one. You're a pseudo-homosexual. You fucking pedophiles. Yeah, should I start that one with you? Huh? Should I question, well, why else would this fucker want to have a baby? Why would this old man want to have a baby? He's not going to see it grow up. So, of course, he only wants it when it's a kid. Why would he only want something that's only going to be a kid? Oh, I guess he wants to suck its dick. That can be the only possible reason. What other reason would a male, an old man male, want to have a baby for? It's got to be to molest it. It can't be any other rational conclusion, can there? Seems quite obvious what this guy is selling. He's talking about there being no harm in the world because he wants to do harm, quite obviously, right? That could be the only reason. Why would somebody say there's no such thing as harm? I think it would be because they want to do harm. They want a permission to do harm. Yeah, that can be the only reasonable conclusion.
How a crowd tends to form around any form of ism that's out there, any sort of orthodoxy, any sort of proper opinion on any subject that ever comes up. And
yeah, whatever. This is just right. So nobody could ever organize to get anything done because then you're an ismite. I mean, you know. So yeah. If you're defending civil rights, you're a civil rightsismer. Okay, and you're somehow evil. I mean, this is just nonsense. It just is plainly nonsense. This argument should be booed off of YouTube, not get 24 likes from your sycophant. You're the one with the sycophant supporters. Anybody who's saying anything anti-natalism, they'll vote for it, even if it is a despicable, shitty, crappy, cruddy, maliciously evil argument. And they'll support it, okay? Just because, yeah, it's our team. I think you and your gang are the ones infected by an ism, fucker.
Eccentricity will be disciplined by swarming or ostracism.
Yeah, right. So this all makes so much sense in the context of this circumstance, while we're the eccentric minority, and it seems like you're the one spouting the old Christian dogma. God done it. We're special.
I'm not really going to go so far as to say anyone has attempted to swarm me or ostracize me here on YouTube. I don't think that such things are really possible, I think, given the fact that no one is ever being forced to watch anyone else.
Right. Well, you're certainly unrecommendable, that's for sure. I mean, why? I mean, I'm not going to have Mussolini over for dinner. Why the fuck would I think your low character should be applauded or that anybody should find you at all stomachable or tolerable? Your behavior is despicable. You're just a fucking hatchet ad hominem, whatever, rose-colored hatchet. Okay, yes, you're very polite, but you're incredibly insulting and patronizing, you motherfucking prick.
Videos. But I do note the extreme hostility of some people's reactions to what I'm putting forward.
Yeah, what are you putting forward? Let's be clear again, okay? Is an attack on the integrity and character of the individuals who would call themselves antinatalism. You haven't attacked the rational premises of their philosophy. You've only attacked them, okay, by saying, well, it's a depressive psychosis, instead of just admitting the truth that, yes, the philosophy, if true, if the theory of truth is in fact accurate, it is reasonable that a human psychology would find it depressing. Instead of conceding that simple truth, you must maliciously imply that there is a corruption in the integrity of the belief. And no one's supposed to be offended by that. Yeah, fuck you.
And I suppose that this is a rhetorical question, but I would like to ask these people what's behind all of that.
Yeah, well, like I said, part of it's the personal insult, but then the bigger picture is you're insulting the integrity of a philosophy of care and concern. My imagination regularly provides me imagery of not only the icons of care, like Kevorkian, but the victims, the people he attempted to help, those style of human beings, ones trapped in a horrible circumstance. I often imagine people in the mental institution right now getting electroshock therapy. I imagine terrified people, psychotic people, crazy people even, and I imagine the torment inside their heads. And then I'll imagine an animal maybe hit by a car who isn't killed, only had their leg crushed, and the process of them dying over the next 3 or 4 days. Yeah, and you're insulting the integrity of the value I see in those entities, their dignity, the price they're paying. So it's almost like you're pissing on the war dead, okay, from my perspective. I see you whipping out your little crooked dick, and I see you pissing on the war dead. And you're saying, why are you offended? Why do you hate me? That's why I hate you, you fucking cunt. Because you're insulting the suffering of billions of animals and millions of human beings. And I find that so fucking disgusting.
What sort of sacred cow am I defiling? Am I...
Harm, pain, suffering, torment, Poeskian horror, even Van Goghian suffering. The dignity, integrity, substance of that you're pissing on with your trivial and superficial dismissal of its existence, of its meaning, of its material matter gravity. It has value gravity, and you're dismissing it. You're trivializing it. You're insulting it. You're cartooning on it. You're pissing on it. Because you suck.
Treading upon what sort of emotionally held belief, strongly held belief, am I attacking that results in the big to hell with you or fuck you that I get,
Well, like I said, it's been quite clear. You've insulted depression. You've insulted the meaning of harm. You've attempted to trivialize and dismiss it. and if you want to call it a sacred cow, yeah, I don't, you know, off the top of my head, I don't have a great argument to say there's such a thing as a truly sacred value. But I'm going to argue that it is the value in the universe. There's nothing more important than first doing no harm. Harm is the first priority, is the prime directive, not to cause harm. The dessert of your pleasure and your happiness and your sunsets and all of that crap has to come first only when you have done everything possible to minimize harm.
From time to time. The abuse gets pretty thick on the ground, and again, too bad for me if I open my mouth on YouTube. People are going to flame me, rather.
Well, again, this is just, I mean, I don't, they have words for this. I don't know what gas, I don't know what kind of words there are. There's a cliche for what you're doing here, just like your comments here, where you even admit that you're going to pull the Hitler card, and you do it anyway. Well, that's the next video, I guess. And you know, and here you are doing it right here. What have I done? I mean, it's preposterous. Again, your attack on our personal character has been fucking obvious. And that ad hominem is supposed to not provoke a reaction from us? You've cheated in the fucking fight. You're using wedge weapons that should be illegal because they're just cheats, okay, of innuendo and implication. Again, you don't name names. You have played an insidiously dirty game, and you're surprised that people are saying, "Get that piece of shit off this table." I mean, fuck that. I'm not playing with this motherfucker. I'm not stooping to your level, shithead.
You do about that. And anybody can do that. I can't stop anyone from standing in front of a webcam or sitting and calling me every name they feel like calling me. So, okay, there's really no...
Yeah, again, pretend like you're innocent, like you haven't committed any crime. This has been going on YouTube for the 6 years that I've been here. Okay, you pseudo faggots, excuse my French, play these word games, you know, where you carefully articulate your insults and then pretend that somehow they weren't just as malicious, just as petty, just as useless in a conversation as a fuck you. They are just as meaningless, okay? The fact that I don't have your inhibitions and that I'm not going to sit there and hypocrisy myself by saying, okay, I'm going to play the game. I will strangle my hair like Professor Anton. I will tie it in little bows, and I will look forward, and I will speak the speak like a good little jargoneer. All right. I mean, here you just talked about eccentricity being slighted, you know, being ridiculed for the sake of it. And you're playing the same game. Your expectation is that I use your strangled vocabulary, that I only insult you with some sort of, you know, 4-syllable words. Well, fuck you, you cunt bastard, motherfucky suck bastard puke.
No point in me getting upset about something I can't control. But what I would like to figure out is, what is behind that? What sort of orthodoxy am I violating? What's the...
Well, the same orthodoxy that would have, you know, a perfectly civilized man 200 years ago walk up to another man and give him a good swap with his glove and say, "I'll see you on the field of honor, you motherfucking prick." But you're not going to call me a hypocrite or a liar. You're not going to say that I've been duped or that I'm ignorant, unless you're going to back it up with something, fuckhead. All right? Unless you can back it up with a real argument, all right, all you're doing is slandering. And that's all you are. You're just a lying, slandering piece of fucking shit. We've seen you quote mine. We've seen you take shit out of context. We've seen you twist and turn it. Your next video, you do a preposterous job of twisting somebody else's words. Just an overt effort to twist them into something everybody who has any fairness in them, a single little ear bone worth of fairness, is going to be able to figure out that's not what Benatar was saying, the words you tried to put in his fucking mouth. And so you're just a despicable character. Despicable.
The iconoclasm. What are the icons that I am clasming here? There does seem to be some sort of accepted canon to a certain type of antinatalism. I call it morbid antinatalism.
Yeah, you call it. And so that kind of name calling, again, is supposed to not provoke some sort of equal or even added value opposite reaction. Asshole. Okay. I mean, it's just stupid. So, yeah, I'll call you an ignorant Teletubby. That's all you are. You're just a drone. A fucking drone for the Borg, the DNA Borg. A dim-witted Borgite.
People tend to get upset in a sort of a...
Well, look, the whole concept of morbid is an idiotic word to put in front of it. We're not making a story about zombies or something. We're not relishing in it. Okay? It's a fucking depressing truth. How the fuck can it be something other than what it is? It's not a happy story. There's no happily ever after. All the fucking heroes die. Is there some word for that? But do you have to pervert it into some kind of use a word where we're morbid about it? We're not morbid about it. We might be grief-stricken. Do you see the distinction between these words and how you've chosen to use this word? You could call us grief-stricken antinatalists, but instead you choose this rhetoric. Fucker.
Subconscious and kind of belly level way about what I'm saying now, or the questions I'm asking.
Well, again, it's not our bellies that's reacting. I have made at least 25 video responses to you. 20. All right, they're not belly reactions. I've articulated an explanation of why you are fundamentally and substantially in error in the rhetoric you're speaking. That it doesn't define me. It doesn't define my argument, okay? And you're cheating the argument.
I honestly have to say I'm mystified by it. Although, to be...
Yeah, you say you're honestly doing that. I don't think you're an honest guy, to tell you the fucking goddamn honest truth. Honestly, I don't think you're honest. I don't think you're honestly confused. Again, you've chosen this language. You've chosen these manipulative words. These are trigger words. They're known to be that way, and you've chosen this rhetoric. All right. So don't tell me you're surprised and mystified. I think you're a liar.
Fair to my critics, I'm fascinated by it as well, and I can't be completely sure that my ego isn't involved here. That I'm getting some sort of weird satisfaction at going against the grain and watching everyone get upset.
Oh, going against the grain, right? This is preposterous in this context. You mean going against the grain of the intellectuals on YouTube, and you're going to have to concede that, yes, that's right, the best and the brightest are antinatalists, all right? And that's what you're going against. All right, and so you're saying to yourself, you have that's the dissidence inside your brain is, ooh, I'm going to be on the side of the dumbest people on this planet. I'm going to be arguing rhetoric that basically is as stone cold dumbass as Christian apologetics. I'm going to be saying things that are just as plain stupid as stupid can be, and that's what's causing you some dissidence. Is that you're in conflict with logic, rationality, and a clinical view of the facts. And that you're finding uncomfortable because you know you're completely in bullshit land. Like Oz. Except you're in bullshit land. and the Munchkins are just idiots like Rosebushy with their fingers up their nose.
Although I don't honestly see how I'm going against the grain of a philosophy that's promoting human auto-extinction.
Yeah, again, promoting blah, blah, blah. Yeah, promoting what? Promoting a philosophy that has drawn the conclusion that life is not sufficiently efficient in its function, and that as an experiment, it should be discontinued. Yes. Again, there's all kinds of ways to phrase it. You choose yours. Choose them deliberately because they're going to incite an emotional reaction from people. The very thing you will argue that other people are not allowed to commit this crime, and yet you will argue from emotion. So, I mean, you're just such a hypocrite.
But regardless of what I understand or not, there is a powerful reaction. It's a very powerful reaction.
Yeah, the same powerful reaction I have to other assholes on the internet, like the Amazing Atheist when he says the suffering makes the hamburger taste better, or I think I'll just have everybody throw a hamburger out the window just to mock the suffering. Yeah, it's the same kind of visceral reaction. It just has to do with the fact that I am a sentient being. I value suffering. I know that every little bit of suffering I've ever experienced would be really great if I could avoid it, and if I can prevent it in something else, that's a huge win. All right, and you're basically just an advocate for don't worry, run them over. It just doesn't matter. Take what to get your priority is your sunsets and your happiness, and you don't really care about how much roadkill you create to get to it. And that's disgusting to me.
And it was never my intention to provoke anybody or to make anybody angry.
Liar. That's just a lie. Anti-nihilism and depression. You make 60 videos with that title. And you didn't mean to make anybody angry. Fuck you.
But, imp that I am, I tend to get egged on by people who respond violently to me. It makes me more interested. Because, again,
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, this all sounds like a big pile of shit to me. It seems like to me your only objective here was to get into a controversial subject and create some noise to give yourself some attention. And so you're just an attention whore.
Unexamined life is not worth living, and if you're not looking into things, if you're not questioning...
Well, again, this is another accusation. Demonstrate how my efforts to understand the world, that I haven't been diligent enough. I think if we take a chemistry test, I'll beat you. If we take a biology test, I'll defeat you. If we take a test on physics, I'll defeat you. So I can defeat you on those three disciplines. Let's have a little test on engineering. I'll defeat you. I've made every effort to understand the world I'm in. I have not accepted any conclusions from culture or civilization at all. I've been very careful not to be duped because it's Hollywood says so, or the TV says so, or the Teletubby says so. So shithead, back up your bullshit. Back up your statement that we as anti-natalists, or Gary as an anti-natalist, hasn't been careful enough in his scrutiny of the facts or in his collection of knowledge. Prove your accusations or shove them up your ass.
Everything around you, you start to atrophy. And I think that, again, I think that a certain...
I think a certain type of liar on the fucking internet. Yeah, fuck you. Again, you have no evidence for this accusation that anti-natalists have stopped thinking, or they're short on ideas, or short of being in the game. Fuck you. I mean, I think in 1 year of my life, I've had more innovative thoughts than you've had in your entire existence.
Anti-natalism has sort of become almost Benatar worshipping, Benatarism,
Yeah, so another accusation that you're not going to back up with anything. Could you give me an example of the people who are Benatar Ismites? What they've done is you and others have been on this devoted attack of Benatar, and people have now made videos defending Benatar. And now you're going to paint them with this brush that they're somehow obsessed with Benatar because they came to the defense of Benatar. I mean, this is disgusting. It's like we created World War II because we showed up, to save Europe. We caused the war somehow because we showed up to defend. I mean, you just plain suck.
And I'm simply going against the orthodoxy that is sort of bizarrely formed around his ideas.
The orthodoxy. His ideas, basically his contribution is the asymmetry argument. All right? And it's a good argument. Okay? I used it, I called it fail safe. I gave it I explained it with different analogies and without being as mathematical. But the argument is the same. I used the zero-sum argument. But it doesn't matter. The argument's fucking solid, shithead. Okay? So why shouldn't people defend it? It's a truth about... It's one of the paradoxes of sorts. It's a curiosity of existence as a sentient, that this circumstance exists, where we sort of create the need for our existence, that our existence isn't needed by an external body or entity. There's nothing that needs us to rescue it. We have no mission statement beyond fixing the harm condition of the sentience our existence imposes on reality. That's a little problematic. That is sort of like firemen who start fires so they can put fires out. That is a little bit of a problem. And you haven't dealt with that argument. You haven't sufficiently separated it and put it out. Oh, no, that's illogical comparison. No, it's a valid truth. And you've run from it. And you've slandered the person who argues it. Instead of arguing that argument, you just slander the people who defend it.
And this is the only way that I can actually understand the venom that I've provoked. Although I've provoked plenty of sympathetic responses as well from people.
Yeah, and I just, again, I would, the vacuous support statements for preposterous statements in your videos. Harm doesn't exist. It all goes away when they're dead. You can forget that it ever happened. It's okay not to even acknowledge the crime as long as the criminal kills the victim. It's all okay.
And I suppose that, of course, when you see something that's unexpected and you're fundamentally a curious person, you want to know why.
Well, again, there's no liar. You know why. Again, these are deliberately manipulative uses of language. Morbid antinatalists. Again, you chose the word morbid. You don't have any way to connect this to any kind of morbidity, okay? But it's just another slander. Just the kind of slanders that Jack Kevorkian got. Dr. Death. And because he does paintings about death and symbolism that was dark, okay, people just threw that label at him. That's his obsession. When his obsession was the welfare of feeling, living creatures.
Why would people get upset when one questions what could arguably be the most depressing philosophy out there?
Well, again, the most depressing theory of reality, right? Because your use of the word philosophy doesn't mean anything. You think a philosophy's only function is to help you put your shoes on faster. That's how you judge whether a philosophy is good or not, is whether it tastes good. All right? You don't care about truth. You don't care about reality. You've already assumed, okay, this person who's supposed to be a free thinker, and you've drawn the conclusion that we can't know. Right? You know that we can't know. Isn't that a little bit like preposterously ironic that you can know that we can't know?
Might think I'm out to lunch, but why get upset about me trying to debunk an idea?
I wish you would try to debunk the idea. Please make a video about antinatalism, okay? Make a video that doesn't talk about antinatalists, but talks about the philosophy of antinatalism as a theory of truth. Argue the theory, not the individual psychology, but the theory, the premises, and the conclusions. I haven't heard you say the word evolution. I haven't heard you deal with consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, and addiction. You're going to talk about cannibalism in your next video, but you're not going to do it in the context of living things on planet Earth, sentient creatures eating each other. Jeez.
That is, even by its appearance, seen, admittedly, as an unpleasant truth.
Well, there we go. That's right. So argue that theory. Argue the theory that life is a consequence of unintelligent design, that its basic functionality is to create a problem and then engineer a half solution. That's the entire function of our brain, is merely to clean up the mess that our sentient feeling part of our brain creates. Argue that theory.
It's still unpleasant. One would assume that people would like to see that debunked.
Yeah, right. Again, please, debunk evolution. Debunk the theory that it's unintelligent design. Debunk the theory that the distinction between a human and a great ape on the question of emotional character, the distinction is fundamentally non-existent. That we are in effect truly cannibalizing our own kind. Sentient mammals, you eat them for breakfast. You enslave them in food camps. You torment and torture them for your own gratification. Yes, why? Because you see some sort of balanced math in you having and them not having. Okay? You don't count the negatives if they don't exist in you. Your harm matters, their harm doesn't. Your philosophy is clear. You don't care about the victims, quite obviously. Account for that. Explain to me how victims don't exist. You fucking deplorable creep.
Just a thought. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. More pseudo-homosexual weirdness and such. Creepy motherfucker. Okay, so anyway, here's 43 minutes for YouTube. Yay! And better make it an update video just so I don't get any crap from people who said you weren't gonna make a YouTube video unless it's an update video. So I'll update you. What the fuck? So I've made a couple of videos since the last update video, I'm sure. This is a good one. I don't know why that alarm goes off. Stupid low batteries. Gold medal winning waste engine. That's a good video. Good picture, actually, too. Imposing harm on the posers. Another good video. I mean, god damn it, I am good at making videos. This is the what the fuck from, after the Stickam and such. Benatar's data. Yeah, Fred was insulting. the argument. And there's Metamorph's video, and this is the cockroach one on YouTube. So that's the last update video. So, but I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outstandingly brilliant videos since the last update video. So 5 videos is pretty good. And we could play this again and see if it blows up the browser, just for fun. Ha 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 ha. The gray video. Why don't you deal with that?
Intelligent design is going to create huge volumes of waste and sloppiness. There's going to be paint on the walls, food on the floor, however you want to metaphor it. But the retard ain't going to do it right. And there's going to be a mess made.
So that's the theory, right? It's unintelligent design, which means a retard is in control. And that the retard isn't going to do it right. Because it's a precious commodity in being controlled by crude forces. Well, that part's in here too. Why don't you just deal with this video? Deal with the argument in this video, you stinking, lousy, rotten, lying bastard.
And that's the dilemma of the true atheist, is accepting the fact that he's part of a big waste engine. An engine that has 99 times more friction than function. Crude forces in control of precious commodities.
There you go. Crude forces in control of precious commodities. That's the world we live in. And there's no excuse to perpetuate it.
That's the real game. So all these little happy-pappy, sing-songy, ink balloon chasing, life is fun, 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 atheists are basically not atheists. They obviously think they're accomplishing something as being part of something's finger painting.
We should be awestruck at 4 billion years. We should be contemplating.
Yeah, let's understand that this crocodile even this animal, okay, in the lifetime of one female crocodile, literally 1,000 eggs will be laid, maybe more. 1,000 crocodiles. So 998 of them will die before they reach maturity. That's the reality of the world these animals live in. If 999 babies died in their first year to have one survive, maybe human beings wouldn't be so keen on life. Maybe they wouldn't find it such a big, joyful celebration of la-la and hoo-ha and wing-bang.
The idea of these organisms eating each other, all the wrong ways things could have gone. I mean, the world still could be dominated by dinosaurs. If it wasn't for a stupid meteor impact, there'd be no grace or beauty or dignity or art. It'd be a crude, dirty, ugly, it'd be a bug planet.
Yeah, and don't forget that context. 4 billion years. Not 4 billion years of Shakespeare, not 4 billion years of stoic wonder. No, 4 billion years of just hard, cracking bones.
Hey, that's what it would be. Life isn't all anything. It's a whole pile of shit that happens over years. That's the way we live a life, over a period of years. We know where 99.999% of life has been, the whole history of life on Earth. And hasn't been contemplating the universe, hasn't been doing any of that crap. Tiny, tiny fraction, one grain of sand in a whole beach of time has been spent by human beings in the history of life.
Yeah, alright, well now. Anyway, deal with that argument, fuckers.